If you want a second Dallas Cowboys report video today, then share this one. We'll be talking trades this morning. If you want a second video, then simply share this one on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc., as we will break down Jerry Jones's comments on a potential Cowboys trade. I'm fluent in Jerry speak. I know exactly what he meant to say in a very rambling, lengthy quote. Derrick Henry trade rumors, we'll break down those, and if the Cowboys should have any interest at all in Dalvin Cook. Let's begin with Jerry Jones. That sets the scene for everything trade-related, after all, for the Dallas Cowboys. He laid out the Cowboys' trade deadline plans, and many weren't very happy. There was a lot of quotes that we got to, or that Jerry gave 105 to the fans. So let's just lay out what Jerry said, and then I will translate for you. On deadline deals, he said it would have to come our way. I don't want to preclude it in any way, but it always does. You have a lot of machinations that you're working with every day. I do, but the initiation of an opportunity to make a trade at this time that would help us principally has to start over on the other end. And so that's not showing a lack of aggressiveness. That's just where it starts. I like where we are with our personnel today. And so I'm not thinking in any way that we need to upgrade our roster. I like where we are with our personnel today. I'm not thinking in any way we need to upgrade it. I would really extend to improve our team right now because I think we have a contender. So I would do it right now. I have areas of the team that, if in certain circumstances happen, improve. So you don't know that your best chance to get it done is when it comes by you and grab it. That's generally speaking. To go out and push it, the odds of getting it done at the price or trade conditions that you would expect is draining. That's a lot of word salad right there from Jerry Jones. Good news, I am fluent in Jerry speak. And if some of that sounded contradictory, it kind of was contradictory. So allow me to translate what Jerry Jones is really saying with those quotes and condense it down into stuff that's not 8,000 words of you're trying to get to your English paper in high school and you got to meet the word minimum. That's kind of what it read like, right? Here's what Jerry Jones actually means. I'm open to making trades, but I'm not going to be the one making the calls to start. I need to win the deal. So if you're selling, give us a call and we'll see what happens. We do like our guys, though. Now let me go eat my McGriddle with extra salt. So will the Cowboys make a trade deadline deal? We'll get into some more thoughts and the issues that arise here, but I want to hear your opinions first. 1 for yes, they will. 0 for no, they will not. Vote in the comments at the pin poll right now. I don't think you can actually rule out a trade based on what Jerry Jones said and what he meant overall. It probably will not be a splash move, and it does have to require a team calling the Cowboys first as sellers of maybe the Cowboys are buyers, meaning our phones are open, but we are not actually treating it as a 365, 7-day-a-week trade acquisition period because none of the Cowboys actually do business. The biggest problem for Dallas, actually, is not the salary cap. Don't let them fool you. It's a severe lack of draft capital at the moment, at least. The Cowboys have 5 picks at this moment for the 2024 NFL Draft. A first, a second, a third, your premium picks, and 2 sevenths, one of which comes from the Las Vegas Raiders. Remember, they traded away the 4th for Trey Lance, the 5th for Eric Scott Jr., and the 6th for Brandon Cooks. Those are 3 picks you are now down. Now, you should get some comp picks back. The projected numbers, and these will change based on playing time and throughout the season, so it is all projected stuff. A 5th-round pick for Connor McGovern, a 6th-round pick for Dalton Schultz, and as of now, nothing for Noah Brown. You could always trade 2025 picks, but the draft capital the Cowboys normally have is a little bit more limited than what you might normally expect. You could agree to some conditions of trading away those comp picks, but it would require the conditional aspect to be approved by all parties involved. We have a new sponsor here on the Cowboys Report. It is Kudo Popcorn. Are you on the hunt for a new guilt-free snack? Then meet Kudo, the official protein popcorn of the UFC. Kudo Popcorn's revolutionary cooking method allows each bag of popcorn to have 10 grams of whey protein isolate in every bag while still tasting absolutely delicious. That's right, 10 whole grams of protein in every bag. You guys get 25% off your entire order with code CHAT over at kudosnacks.com. If you're hitting the gym, going for a long hike, or just looking for something healthier to eat or snack on, you should almost certainly be taking whey protein to help boost muscle protein synthesis and the growth of lean muscle mass. You will be amazed how Kudo popcorn has somehow made your favorite healthy snack even tastier and healthier. For a limited time, you guys get an exclusive 25% discount when you use code CHAT at kudosnacks.com. Again, the link will be in the comments and the description of today's show. That's 25% off with code CHAT over at kudosnacks.com. Save some money and support the official protein popcorn of the UFC and get popped as well. Let's talk running backs. Speaking of very athletic and strong human beings, works well with Kudo popcorn, it's Derrick Henry, right? The Titans made the decision to trade away Kevin Byard. That has begun the true fire sale rumors around not just Derrick Henry, but other players in Tennessee. And the surprise of absolutely no one, because it is the biggest maybe player, name-wise, on the trade market for the biggest NFL team. Yeah, of course Derrick Henry is being linked to the Dallas Cowboys. There's a lot of pros and cons, however, that I do think need to be considered as part of this conversation. Contract involved, we'll get to all of that, the trade cost here. But if you look at what the Vegas odds are saying, Vegas knows ball. They always come out on top, don't they? Vegas always wins. Dallas is fourth in the trade odds. I actually like the Ravens a lot at plus 900, but the Cowboys are plus 50. Some pros and cons we'll go into more in depth here momentarily. First up, look, Derrick Henry is a good player, or there's no way around that. He has also shown signs of decline. You have to acknowledge that. I do think his running style fits what the Cowboys have seemingly wanted to do with the current offensive regime, which I'm calling the tight zone. It's not really duo. It's not really inside zone because there's no space, so we're going to call it tight zone. It would mean the Cowboys do something, right? If you want them to do anything, it's the gif of the stick poking the guy, do something. That's this, right? I also wonder, is running back the issue for your ground game? And what is the actual cost, both contract-wise and, more importantly, trade-wise, as it relates to Derrick Henry? So a lot more on this still to come. Do you want to trade for Derrick Henry? Y for yes, N for no. Take advantage, and go vote in the comments section right now. The one thing we have to mention here, look, Derrick Henry's a good player. We know that, right? Very obvious. He's King Henry, right? Here's the thing. He's not the king anymore. Derrick Henry is no longer the best back in the NFL. And if you're trying to find an argument that's not name recognition, that's based only on what he's done this year, it is actually very tough to find an argument that says Derrick Henry's a top 5 back this season. Not like he's a bum. Make that clear. Not like he's terrible or anything along those lines. But the Derrick Henry we all remember hasn't been the same guy. He's been a 4.4-ish yard per carry guy for 3 years now. That's not bad, but how much is that really worth? Derrick Henry has had some big games so far this year. He's also had some bad ones. And I would say it's perfectly reasonable to say, well, the O-line's to blame, right? I would agree, because he's far from a bad player. He's still good. In fact, he's probably still very good. But he's not peak King Henry either. And if the argument is, well, the O-line was the problem, which I'd probably agree with, sure this O-line's good enough right now? They ain't playing like it. Should probably raise some red flags on top of that. Now, rushing yards over expected. It is the next-gen stat. It's just based on what's blocked, etc. What should you be getting relative to others? Now, if your O-line's really, really bad, it's tough to be positive in this area because, well, it's blocked for -3 and there's 2 guys in the backfield. The expectation's 0, but you can't get over it, right? So you kind of limits your potential upside there. So it's a metric, not the end-all, be-all. Better than what it was the past 2 years for King Henry. He had a couple really big games. At one point, it was actually .004 this year. It was below average. It jumped back up because he had some nice games, which is whole sample size, right? but it is still down relative to his peak years, 2020, 2019, and 2018. Now, of all the running back contracts given out so far, Derrick Henry's is one of the better ones because they haven't wanted to cut him at any point, and you're still not going to cut him, by the way. But I don't know what the trade cost would be. There is a point where even with his, you'd owe him roughly $4.5, $5 million, somewhere in that range. Even with that being the contract cost, there does become a trade point where it's like, hell yeah, let's make it happen. Like, if you can get Derrick Henry for a sixth, F the sixth, that's the fifth, let's make it happen. I'm all for it. But if the time's like, we need a second or a third, I'm like, is that really worth it, though? Like, is it really? You might be able to work the second because you can't draft three, but that's still a second for a running back. Your O-line's a real issue right now, whether you want to admit it or not. And there's this part, too. Folks, running backs do not put teams over the top. The Niners almost made it happen with Christian McCaffrey last year, although Brock Purdy was playing super well as part of that. Then he got hurt and offense fell apart, go figure. Although that was maybe not the best example. The last time a running back actually put a team over the top is Emmitt Smith. It hasn't happened since then. And you can't go chasing the dragon from 25, 27 years ago. That's not how it works. The modern day NFL, running backs are easily replaceable, or at least I should say easier to replace than other positions. I would not give up a premium draft pick for Derrick Henry. It's a running back. It's not worth it. But if you can get him for a late day 3 pick, sure, let's make that happen. I don't know if that's feasible, though, at this stage. If the Cowboys make a trade, we will have you guys covered. Hit that sub button right now for more free Dallas Cowboys news, and in theory, a second one later this afternoon. Let's talk Dalvin Cook. ESPN reports teams are curious the Jets will shop Dalvin Cook at the trade deadline. He has not played well. The new team would owe a prorated $7 million, which is actually kind of a lot for Dalvin Cook at this stage. The Cowboys were linked after he was first cut. I've seen plenty of social media speculation, and to an even more extreme level than Derrick Henry, this is an example of the name brand, the name recognition costing more than the actual quality of the player involved. I have zero interest in trading for Dalvin Cook unless the Jets eat all of the money, and even then, they might have to give me a draft pick, quite frankly, because that's the level of impact we're talking about at this stage. I'll explain why here momentarily. But do you want Dalvin Cook? T for trade or P for pass? Sound off where else but the comments section. Here's why I have no interest. He don't have it anymore, guys. Dalvin Cook's at 39 carries, 109 yards, a 2.8 average. He actually doesn't qualify for the rushing yards over expected on NFL's next-gen stats. If he did, he would actually be among the league worst. Breece Hall, by the way, among the league leaders. So you can't blame the offensive line for all for that one. Dalvin Cook is canceled. It is now Dalvin Cooked. That is who he is. He doesn't have it anymore. I warned you guys in the offseason, like, $2 million, $3 million. Okay, sure, see if he has anything left. The signs of decline were already there, and they have shown up in a majorly negative way for Dalvin Cook. Frankly, this is me saying it, keep that in mind, I would rather bring back Zeke than give up anything of note for Dalvin Cook. I think Cook has zero value at this point. I have no desire to add him. Give the ball to Rico Dowdle more instead.